that the Camille was taking top lane tier 2, and she might just take it right in front of this Ahri with the damage from her Q. The Camille hookshot actually misses, and Ahri's gonna take her down, I would guess, but the Ahri missing every spell, and Camille taking her down!
Ryan UV coming up big again.
As he can. Magma has to flash ult or something.
It's Sven's Mike's range.
Going in onto the ADC. Big Renato ult hitting almost everyone. It's gonna be a wipe, as you would expect, but this could be still a good fight. Oh my god, Orianna ult on 4 people, but it's not gonna be enough. The Ezreal gets hit by the Senna. He has a slow now and so much attack speed. She's gonna be able to kill the
going. Doesn't care.
Going in with ult. But that's a 1v5 that might be a bit overextended, but she just doesn't care at all. She knows she has the GA to wipe everyone, and that's just so much damage coming out from the Ezreal and the Irelia. And that's just a 5-man wipe immediately after getting the soul.
You're the guest this time, man. No, I'm happy to have you here. A bit of a joke, but yeah, hello everyone. We are live today with the pizza combo, Cheese, and myself bringing you Verax versus K5 Black. How are you doing, man?
I am doing better now that everything's working.
We had
so far.
We had a Discord scare just now. Our productions person, Discord completely died, including his drivers. So we are live just in time for this matchup of the day. What do we have in store?
Well, we have a bit of a do or die game today, Shums. Both teams are tied in the standings in Group B of Division 2. They both have 8 points. I believe it was 8 matches. I need to double check. It's 8 points in total. It's actually a... I think it's realistic. It's a 4-way tie. There are some other teams with 8 points, but they have played or on more points. Same matches. Sorry, there are 4 points with 8 matches played. So there's a 4-way tie with 5th, 6th, 7th, and 8th place right now in the Group B of Division 2, which means that you basically have to win now, or it's no longer in your hands to if you're advanced or not.
To paint the picture, the 4th place, the place that actually goes forward into the playoffs, has 6 points. 5th, 6th, 7th, and 8th teams all have 4 points. So for all of these teams, so for Kai, Karolinerna, Black, definitely not Leo, and Ain't Academy, getting more losses here brings you closer and closer to not reaching those playoffs, and honestly closer and closer to a potential relegation matchup as well.
Yeah, and I think that even now, like, of course, if the 4th seed in this case, Peach Fish Esports, keeps winning, goes 2-0 all the time, they will still advance, but there's very likely that they will not. So, but that does require that, you know, you have to get more 2-0s than them right now if you are any of the 4-way tie teams. So I feel like a loss here would basically guarantee that you won't make playoffs. The likelihood of that goes down to, yeah, very not plausible. Still probably not impossible. I haven't run the numbers specifically, but I would say I would count myself as being kind of off the race. So I think a 1-1 would also not be good. You need to distinguish yourself at the back. So both Kai and Karolinerna Black need a clean 2-0 today to have still keeping their playoff hopes alive.
Yeah, and one thing that Karolinerna Black has going for themselves, they have faced all 3 top teams already. So in that sense, they have a much easier road to go than Kai, who he still has to face Gucci Eve in a week or 2. So these games, especially for Kai and both Karolinerna Black, like you say, are very, very important. And with that, I want to quickly meet our teams before the games start.
Yeah.
We have, as always, a hype video for Kai. Here we go.
They're looking hungry. There's Kai. Oh, Ash Arrow, Enchanted Crystal Arrow lands onto the Braum. He is stunned. Unbreakable is pop. He is exhausted. He dodges the seismic shove, but he's getting so low. The slows from the Ash, the flash, the Prunfell gets 1-6-0. Has to just limp away, and that's a kill. Potentially final fight Emirates. He wants to go in before that though. He gets a great catch onto two. Now TPs are being channeled And 5 is in this space in the front line by the 4-man Magnet Storm. Wondering what are they gonna do? I mean, getting a pick on general characters. 07 again seems to be a second elaborate thing, but that's a big seismic shot, and the shutdown on Suyuki. He is down. The Rainbows is down. Verax Sky is now shouting as the big carry for Lodestar is now. Will it be enough still? Though that's a great smolder ultimate. The Ballstorm is in drop. The Images is doing so much work, and now the Executes are coming in for the smolder, but it's still an even fight. It's still a 2-for-2, but the health bars are in favor. Rune is still alive. Fiskface has finally joined the fight, but he's both top lanes. But Fiskface, he's not here. He's across the wall, and this does mean that Lodestar has a free track, but there's so many slow birds. But in the face of Verax Kai, they fell short. I mean, that video always gets me hyped to watch on Kai games.
I've seen it so many times this time, but at this point, honestly, like every week I see it. Every week I'm like watching it with everything happening, and every week I'm like, fuck yeah, we're gonna see some Kai here, man.
Yeah.
So,
And then you're gonna either see some Kai or see some Kai.
Regardless, a few things that I want to point out. As always, Rune has been insane this season. I think even in Kai's losses, he has played exceptionally well, especially with that Diana. I doubted him from the start, just as I doubted Fiskface, Mundo, but the Diana has been working wonders for him. As well as Frumful has still yet to play this Tristana he's been spamming in solo queue, so we're gonna see if that happens this game or this series.
Yeah, definitely. But this also highlights, I mean, just look into the update. This is obviously they can have alt accounts, but from what I know, also like I feel like Rune is the one who's currently playing the most solo queue, and I mean, I think it really shows. Like people always talk about, solo queue, maybe I don't need to. And like it's more and more shown. Like I think it was Yamato kind of had a YouTube video where he showed like top 5 challenger EOS players were like KC and G2, like 1 or 2 Fnatic players. And then it's like solo queue, playing a lot of solo queue and taking it seriously, like actually treating it as practice, is so important for good performance. And I think Rune is just another example of that.
Yeah, but not everything is just solo queue. Not everything is just practice. Kai has been working very, very hard behind the scenes to be competitive in this division too. It's a very, very competitive division with strong players and strong opponents. And speaking of, let's head over to what Karolinerna Black has brought us today. Not much, according to their OPGG. No. But
that we have received.
But there's one champion choose, I think, where that has your namesake and you will love if it's played today.
Yeah, I mean, I will love and I will be very critical about my champ if it's played remotely wrong. So just forewarned. But I mean, this guy is higher than me, so he should be better at Twitch than me.
We're talking about again, Twitch, just to be sure.
Yeah. Then I really love to see craft of that champion. It's quite fun. There are a lot of. There's been so many good options throughout the years. Some builds I haven't experienced myself because I was kind of Kaiser main for a bit as well. So, I think that kind of shows what kind of player I am. I like build options, or actually I don't, but I love to think, and then I end up with weird shit. But in any case, we're not here to talk about me. We're here to talk about Karolinerna Black, and Twitch would be a very nice pick to see. But we see Jinx, which is also like I think just a power pick. I think she's the best AD carry in the champion to play in Sol period, because I mean, barring really, really high elo stuff, I think like high competition stuff, like high, it is just the best AD carry. Even in LEC, it's shown play, and it's just so consistent. It just deals a lot of damage, gives you exactly what you need from your AD carry, which is damage, tons of damage. I don't know how many times I can say damage, but the champ does a lot. One reset and you just go boom.
And I want to move a bit away from the bot lane. Their bot lane is sturdy, strong, and the standard sort of ADC with an engaged support bot lane. What I want to talk about is both the Jixons in the jungle as well as Larkson in the top lane. Now, Jixons is that not really a one-trick pony, but his main is definitely Master Yi, which he has picked already this season. But they have 3 or 4 potential flex picks in that top jungle duo. They have the Wukong, which they have played in both lanes. They have the Darius now coming out as well with the recent patches. They have the Volibear, and they have the Pantheon. All of those can be played in Pantheon in all 3 lanes realistically. So we even saw a Volibear mid last week, didn't we?
I mean,
Yeah, we did.
I probably did. Which wait, I am not. I think I'm not privy to information you're spotting here, but let's go with that.
Yeah,
I don't actually know.
It was a match
Have you
last
seen
week.
one?
I forgot the names, but yeah, they have a lot of flex potential on the top side of Karolinerna Black, and I think that's what they're going to facilitate with their draft with.
Yeah, and we're hearing from production that we're soon approaching games. So,
Nice.
any closing remarks? I guess we don't have time for because we might transition very, very shortly. But I mean, as you say, I think. I mean, melee support seems to be the name of the game for Karolinerna, from what I know. But I know that Kai Emidus has a really good Lulu, for instance, so like some really good range support plays. He does, of course, play the melees as well, but I think that could be a very interesting dynamic if Kai opts for something more of a range bot lane here, especially into someone who plays a lot of melees. And I am a big fan of the Janas and the Lulus in that case, so we'll see what they end up for. We see Diana respect ban shown to Rune already, which I think is warranted given his past performances on that champion.
And there's the Jinx. You mentioned that Lulu Tweedzat has also played it for Karolinerna Black, as well as that Pike. So he has that very wide. He can go with the assassin support as well as the enchanters and sort of safe.
Don't ruin your mic, man.
It's fine. It's still standing. It's good. With the Poppy ban coming out from Karolinerna Black, this is against both Medius and Fixed Face. Especially Medius has been insane on that Poppy pick.
Yeah, I mean, it's a generally strong pick. Anytime you want to play any sort of engaged comp, like Poppy is just going to be, nightmare fuel for you. And it's like, I want to go in, and oh, wait, there is a steadfast presence, and then you don't get to have fun. So, I mean, respecting the ban, we see Ezreal being answered. So, a lot of bot picks coming out from Verax Kai. I mean, with Prumpel, really performing on that stun, I also saw him solo. He's not doing too well on some other champs, so they might really just want to put him in comfort today, put him on something that can go in and do a lot of damage. So, they might be banning out some answers into that champion, but who knows? Let's see what they're gonna continue with.
The Anivia ban for Glacial Ice is also not really special, but Glacial Ice knows how to play that Anivia well. He showcased that multiple times, but it's not his only signature champion. He also has that Aurelian Soul, which could be pulled out today, but we didn't really touch much about Pekmi. He loves to play those scaling mid laners as well, so I think it's going to be either an Azir first pick for Karolinerna Back, or maybe that Aurelian Soul.
Yeah, it could definitely look to secure an early mid matchup, but that does mean that they're blinding it. And I mean, if Glacial is an Aurelian Soul main, he should know what to counter it. But I guess the question is, what do they play into that? I know Tristana was a really good pick into that, but maybe the Twitch Baylet, he's getting his most. Oh, and this is like B1 Twitch, but it's over 65% win rate, I believe, in solo queue, so maybe it's warranted. Now, Ashe being a hover, you can do. Now, you have a couple of options here into Twitch, I believe. I mean, Tristana can work, especially with the game you can punish him early, but once he gets to that level 6 points, it becomes really problematic in that matchup against the Tristana, but they end up saving Eddie Carey and going for Cassandra, which, I mean, it's generally just a strong pick, so
yeah,
it works.
Has shown he is very, very strong on that Cassandra top. And it also gives some target access towards that Twitch. It can take him out, even if you suicide yourself for taking the Twitch outside of the fight. The rest of the team can then continue after Twitch's ultimate is down. And an Ashe is also picked for Fromval. Now, he has played a lot of that in recent times.
Yeah, and I mean Ash, a good champion in Twitch can really punish him. The way Twitch cheats a lot of high range matchup is that he goes into stealth and autos you once, but Ash with her slows can keep him in the trade longer than he wants to, which kind of doesn't eliminate that strat, but it makes it so much harder to play. So he's one of the better picks you can take to sort of shut down Twitch in ability to cheat the lane phase. Which looks very good for Kaya, but I mean, if they don't punish him a lot early, he will still be very scary. And I mean, one cleanse and that Asho arrow is a memory gone. But with that said, we have Wukong lock in.
And I'm just looking quickly over Bailey's previous champ, like play times of Twitch. It's always the AD. It's always the Yuntal wind arrows into Infinity Edge, into Runans, and nothing else. He does not deviate from that build whatsoever.
Does he say what keystone he runs with that?
I don't think it does here. No, he does lethal tempo.
All right. Okay.
Okay, Mr. Twitch main. What do you think of that?
I think that it's a very good pick when you're playing with the Lula and you're doing a range support combo. But other than that, I think if the only downside to going Yuntas over like something like the Collector or Bork, right, is that it is a better item DPS wise. But I mean, you lose a lot of 1v1 potential, and especially in solo queue, like Twitch whole thing is that he can 1v1 most AD carries. So then I prefer press for just that play pattern. But in comp, I mean, sure, you could go tempo, but I feel like he one-shots a team. He doesn't really have the fights doesn't last long if Twitch ults correctly, so he won't stack lethal as much. So I think press is just better for how his play pattern works when he is enabled. So picking a rune for that is better in my mind. But Lulu is an exception, of course. But we shouldn't talk too much about that because we have Gwen lock in, which for Kai is a very big steal away.
Rune loves to play it. And you know what's good against Twitch?
Gwen. It's one of Twitch. Twitch,
Gwen
the two champs. Yeah, the two champs I always ban when I'm as Twitchman is Yasuo, because of the win wall, and Gwen. These are Gwen more than Yasuo, because these are like the two Twitch champs where if Gwen gets rolling, you cannot do anything as Twitch. You go and you ult, she W's, she runs you down with a ghost, and you're just like, I can't kite this, I can't flash this, I'm just dead.
Yep.
It's fun.
And Pick Me is blinding that Ari. And instead of Kai picking that mid laner, they're opting for the Gwen. Now that leads me to believe that they're looking to pick that Aurelian Soul or something as scaly as that, something as a, just wait out, go into the long game. But if you do that, you have the pressure of the Twitch against you. And oh boy, that's strong in the late game.
I'm a bit perplexed by the option here to lock in mid instead of just getting that Lulu, because Lulu Twitch is such a strong combo. So they had the option to take it, but they decided to prioritize the mid matchup. And especially when you go in RA, which is like cookie cutter blind mid, I feel like it's a bit of a wasted opportunity coming in for Karolinerna Black in that draft phase. But this does mean that Kai gets to ban that option and now gets a free mid counter pick.
Yeah, well, Glacial Ice has played one Galio game this season. Was not his best performance, but in this composition, I think it's really, really good. It denies Ari, denies Wukong. It can get on Twitch as well, and it can facilitate that bot lane skirmishing that the Ashe brings as well. So I think it's a great pick, but you are right now very, very low range on Kai. You can get picked off quite easily by this Ashe if the Galio is not in the vicinity.
We'll see what the Karolinerna ends up rounding out the comp with. Okay, it's the one trick master Yi, but where is he going? I think it's jungle and it must be Wukong top in this case.
I was telling you that jungle Wukong, both JK Sons and Laxrani, oh god, my tongue twisted, both of them play Wukong and they can flex it pretty hard. And with that, Yi goes into the jungle. But I don't think there's a lot of support for Yi here. You have 4 squishy members with a rel here on Kai. Karolinerna Black.
Sorry, I mean, you just have so much lockdown that I don't know how this Yi is going to be able to be effective.
Yeah.
Now, the good thing is they picked it with the Twitch, which does make it so that it's not as straightforward for Kai to just CC the Yi. They actually have to save some things for that Twitch as well. But all in all, they might have been better off going for a more of a standard comp, but I mean, if he's really comfortable on Yi, he maybe sees an angle. I'm definitely the Yi expert, but I have a friend who plays a lot of Yi, gets quite high low consistently, and he anytime they pick a lot of CC, he's just like, I can't play Yi here, and he plays a backup because like that's like the one thing where that champ becomes so different to play, and I think this it's going to be really tricky for him to play in this game.
You have CC on all champions on the side of Kai apart from Rune. And you have no frontline apart from Trizet. And I don't see the C. I think these champions are the Karolinerna Black team is very, very solo queue, where everyone just like knows what they're going to play beforehand and just pick it, not really caring about what the enemy does. I don't see this Karolinerna Black's team working unless they go really, really, really hard winning in the early games, in the early stages of the game.
Yeah, I mean, I'm inclined to agree. It's definitely comfort, and I mean, but we do see comfort as king, and in these type of games where it's so high pressure, I don't blame them for going for it. I mean, you have to win, so then go with your highest win rate champs, and it feels like that's kind of what they're aiming for almost. The one thing that Kai has a lot of CC, they can definitely deal with the enemy comp, but one thing they do lack is damage. The only really high damage threat is that Gwen, but they have, like, Ashe is not really good as a single AD source, so I'm a bit scared for them now that the two like solo lanes and the jungle they have is like both magic damage based, and they have an Ashe, so they will lack a lot of damage, which will actually make it so that Karolinerna Black's comp isn't as squishy as it could have been. Now,
Maybe.
They are very tanky, but I think Wukong, Twitch, and Yi, they don't really care about that because you're going to have a Black Cleaver shredding all the armor. You're going to have a Yi who's just spilling on the hit, and then Twitch is just rich. Yeah, I actually don't think that the comp, it feels bad in isolation. There's a lot of champs where I feel like in isolation, they're really bad to pick here. There's some good individual counters with the Gwen and Twitch, and then, all the CC versus Yi, but I'm not sure who I would give it to, honestly, because yes, I just feel like if Kai makes any sort of small mistakes against any of these champions in the early game, the game just feels like it's going to get out of hand really quick because they lack so much damage. They need to sort of get ahead or at least stay even for this to work. They cannot afford to make any mistakes. So the pressure of execution is a lot higher on Kai, I feel like, than on the enemy team, and the enemy team is on their comfort. Yeah.
I have to agree with you in some ways, but I also have to disagree because Mastery has no setup in any lane apart from the charm. Maybe Wukong post level 6. Bot lane, the Alistar can completely deny anything they want to do. Glacialize, yes, you're into 3 ADs. Yes, it's not the best for you, but you have so much utility, you have so much tankiness innate built into your kit, as well as 2 forms, 3 technically, of CC for all of those champs that hate to be CC'd. And you have no engage apart from Wukong and Rel. And if those 2 champions go in, and there is no real follow-up, that both Yi and Ahri have to play basically as assassins, and Twitch, so you have 2 semi-engages and 3 assassins, and it becomes very, very, very hard for yourself to do much, honestly.
Yeah, it's gonna be kind of. I agree. It's gonna be very tricky for DC to play the game, and I just remember watching. I'm not used to it. I just remember watching a Scenarios episode on YouTube, and he was like, Yi needs to snowball. He needs to be ahead of the game because typically people view him as sort of this scaler, but he kind of needs to. He needs to have good farm, but he also needs to get a bit ahead of the card, either through tempo farming or like killing. So if that rings true still, then I think it's gonna be tricky because yes, Kai basically, if they do nothing and go even, I still favor them for sure, at least mid game. But we'll have to see how it plays out.
But on the other hand, like you said, like you mentioned, Karolinerna has so many ways to just play the game in their favor. Not many people know how to play against Yi. Know how to play. Yi has avenues to impact the game in his own way. So does Twitch. So does the top lane Wukong. So does the mid lane Ahri. So all of these champions can play, can make plays, can do stuff on the map. But if they don't, I feel like it's going to be hard to play those mid-game fights where it's a 5-on-5 front-to-back scenario. They're going to have to find good flanks with good engages with good picks. If they get rolling before then, which is very possible, then it becomes very easy for them to actually place those fights.
Yeah, I mean, this I think is just a discipline test for Kai, or not just, but like very much. In order to win, they can definitely win this, but they need, if they play with good fundamentals and good restraint, they do have the edge in terms of what the composition will do. However, you're against Twitch, Yi. These are champions. This is like the solo queue test for like, if you give these champions anything, they can just steamroll, and it's going to be very difficult. So while, you could see it as, but Kai doesn't have to do much, the other team has to kind of snowball, and you can be a bit like that. I do feel like it's still a bit of burden execution on Kai, where like they have to be so disciplined without sort of forsaking opportunities to get gold, because their team lacks damage without good gold income. So they need to still take plates and push good waves and like get slow leads. Mm-hmm. But it's kind of knife's edge, because if you overstay just a bit for any of these types of gold leads, you can easily get punished by like a Yi or a Twitch. So it's very high discipline gameplay that's going to need to become from Kai. And from what I know from their past games, this is something that they have struggled with. Their games have a lot of kills. Not a lot of kills, but there's a lot of unshakiness in the early game. They usually brush up and a bit later, but unless, of course, Rune.
Live. With the red side, this for the first time on Kai being this, like you said, discipline that they need to show off against Karolinerna in this matchup, where they have defensive melee options versus this high octane pressure assassinating team of Karolinerna that needs to get leads, needs to get ahead, needs to get in a position to take over the game with the Yi, with the Twitch. And I think it's going to be a very, very fun brawl. Sorry to interrupt you there, but we're in game, man.
Yeah, we're in game. I wasn't a bit ready for that, so that was very good interruption. Thank you. I will allow it. But now that we're in game, we can look a bit here at the runes and summoners, and we see a ghost Twitch.
Yo,
we're into Ash. Yeah, actually, and true. That is, I know why, because I mean it's Galio, Alistar. It's like movement speed is so important against these champs, so you can just stay out of their range because they have sort of more guaranteed CC if they get in range. So in that sense, the ghost is very needed. But into Ash, it makes it so now you have to use your flash for that arrow, and that means you cannot escape K'Sante or Gwen. So this is going to be really tricky for the Twitch to play out, because you want to think you have Ghost. Gwen has Ghost. I can survive. No, Gwen is still faster. It sucks, but that's life against Gwen Ghost. But we're going to see how Baylit plays this. He has played on Twitch. He's very successful at it, so I wouldn't count him out yet. And it still requires very good execution from Kai with their CC layering to punish him. But they definitely have the avenue here. And other than that, I don't see anything special on either side.
Yeah. Well, the Twitch, honestly, I agree with you. One Ash ultimate into Emilius's combo into Glacializ's ultimate, it's a dead rat on your screen right there, and there's nothing the Twitch can do. He can flash afterwards or before, but then the next arrow just hits, and it's a repeat thing.
Now, the thing about Ghost is that it is kind of this, smurfing rune where if you get you in your opponent's head and you're really fast, you can dodge the arrow. But if the Ashe player just keeps themselves calm, it's actually, you should be able to hit it in like a 2v2 scenario. And yeah, I mean, it's a hard choice if you're an ADC main, because like against the support, you want Ghost. Against Ashe, you want kind of Cleanse. But then you're like, So, I mean, it's not an easy summoner choice, even though we maybe make it out to be. But I definitely think the Cleanse would have been a bit more helpful here. We'll see if that bears fruit. Maybe with the fancy feat, he can still survive here on Baylit, but he's definitely going to have to show his Twitch carry pants this game. And I'm all for it. I want to see some good gameplay. But, Mio, what do you expect from this early game, my man?
Well, I feel like you said, discipline from Kai. Wait for that Ashe ultimate. Wait for those playmaking potential abilities from what you can do. On the other hand, both junglers are.
Oh,
actually,
we have a bit. I might have to interrupt you here because we have a bit of a close 1v1 in the top lane. Never mind, I didn't need to because they are backing off, but close trading in both solar laners here.
Yeah, and I think both Karolina's solo laners will win out in the early phases, Fisk phase, as well as actually a mid lane gank. Rune does not get much. Sorry. Yeah, but both Bekmi and Luxray can get Prio, although Rune is going to get both Skull Crabs, and that's huge. He has a 10 CS lead over this a bit slower farming Master Yi, and that's an insane
I mean, this is really good. Not only does he get double Skull and he's ahead on tempo, he used that tempo to get an early gank on Glacier, which here secures his recall because he was in a really bad spot actually against the Ori. She had a slow push building, she had HP and resource lead, so that could have been really bad. But now he just gets to recall TV back and it's just even lane again. And so Rune, we talked about him being sort of the highest, best performing player, and he's really showing it here at the start of game 1.
So he has a 3 camp lead over the Mastery in 4 minutes 30 seconds. It's a very, very good start of him, and it puts this Yi in an awkward position where there's nothing you can do on the map. Have the wolves spawned? Can we go over Mastery? Yeah, they have probably, otherwise he wouldn't be standing there.
Yeah, they have indeed, and he's gonna be clearing those, and he's just slower. I mean, I'm not the best on this specific matchup, but I can see the Gwen having a bit faster clear with Snip versus the Master Yi with his autos early game, so I guess it makes sense, but I mean, still just good Rune. He's definitely already used the tempo very well, and he's continuing to use the tempo very well. Already first on Dragon, and with that Ashe, they have been able to just secure Prio with a range advantage in the bot lane. And I mean, yeah, this is a great start coming out here from Verax Kai.
Yeah.
Now, will there be a contest?
I doubt there will be. I think Pekmi is just going to toss it out a Q, hope for the best, and does not get it. Rune, Smite is true, gets the dragon, and no answer, no handshake of the grubs here from K5 Black. And right now, it's just looking like a solid early game by Rune, honestly.
I mean, I really like this. They use the pressure where they have it, which is in this bot lane, and the other lanes are just chilling, and they looked a bit scary mid, but I mean, they win in jungle bot, right? And jungle bot is doing their best to make sure that the team has a solid early game, and so props to them here. And yeah, I'm curious to see what's going to happen going forward here. Now grubs have spawned, so maybe that's the next objective. It certainly looks so for Rune.
But honestly, you're sacking a bit of the bot lane farm. You see Mastery as well as Twitzat being bot lane, but Rune just running around the map, owning it, calling down Fisk face for the grubs, calling down his bot lane for the Drake, and right now, that's just 2 objective lead for Kai, as well as a very small gold lead.
Okay, we have a bit of a trade here. The headbutt is used, but I mean, not much to follow. I mean, the Twitch deals a lot of damage, and that's just a 1 trade coming out from the side of Karolina Black's bot lane. And I mean, this is the power of the Twitch. People think he's weak early, but I mean, if you let him auto, that poison is going to stack, and it definitely shows just how much damage that does. And now that means that the Prio has been secured temporarily for Karolina. Let's see what they do with it.
Yeah, still, top lane?
Yeah, top lane, it's a bit of an old trade. I think Fisk, he still has, his get out of jail free call. He uses the all out though, but he's kind of low though. He's getting even lower, but the shield is enough. I think Cassandra champ goes in favor of Fisk face, and Luxley has to sort of say Cassandra diff maybe, or just a facepalm at that moment. So,
it was such a good trade for Luxray. Honestly, you should take the win. You TP in, you're ahead in, not ahead, but you're ahead in tempo, you're ahead in items. But right now, the enemy has explained so much, have a freeze going on. Just let it be. The tower diving there hurts him so much. He dies, he loses the freeze, and a lot of XP plus the kill gold.
I mean, he pushing the wave that with the Cyclone there, right? And I mean, he had like a stacked wave into Fisk with no TP. If he just chills and Fisk stays on that HP, it's a free dive angle, especially if he calls up that E. But instead, he overplays his hand and ends up paying for it. let's see here. Can Karolinerna ask? They're looking a bit here on the bot side of the map to see if they can get something in return, knowing that Rune was on the top side, but he's slowly pathing down. And I mean, he wasted a bit of time here, and just look at the farm gap here. It's just getting bigger and bigger. Here with Rune, he's just continuing to farm whilst even looking for ganks. I mean, he's using his tempo lead so effectively. He's almost at minute farm. And I mean, this is exactly what I wanted to see from Karolinerna. I mean, they're getting these slow sort of tempo leads, like slow gold accumulation. They're not overplaying. They're waiting for opponents' mistakes. And if this continues, I mean, this is looking great for Verax Sky.
Yeah, very much is. And honestly, I don't think there's anything more that you can be doing as Sky. The only losing lane, in quotes, is that Ashe, but you have sacrificed the Ashe's farm to get 2 other objectives, which is worth it in pretty much any case scenario. Plus, you have this 600 gold lead now on Fisk phase. That Xante is going to be accelerated in the game as Rune looks for bot.
He looks for a bit of bot. He's level 7 already, so he's quite big, but yeah, he's just gonna poke a bit bot lane, show his presence, and walls back up. But this does mean he loses his raptors. This might be the first blunder here. That gank was very unlikely to work out, and he gives up a free camp to his opponent. So still ahead, but I mean, Rune is showing some cracks in his gameplay here.
JK Sun's finally getting something done on the map realistically with that invade, but still, it's just chickens for now. Both early game objectives have gone to Kai, so they have accumulated about 1,000 of a gold lead in 10 minutes. It's not backbreaking for Karolinerna Black whatsoever, but it is still a pretty good game state for Kai and almost exactly where you want to be.
Now, Rune, he waited so long for the bot lane, so he still hasn't cleared his golems on his top side half, and now Drake's about to spawn, so he wants to go down for that. So that camp is just gonna stay up there. I feel like, he got a bit of, maybe he's a victim of the solo queue mentality there, where like, you feel like you've ignored your laners for too long, so you need to gank so they don't tilt at you, but he was doing really well, and I think he just needs to continue, with this farm tempo lead that he had, and wait for objective spawns. He doesn't really have to do anything crazy, but this does now mean that Drake is about to spawn, and first item is not completed by anyone so far. So I don't see a clear advantage for any team right now. It's just gonna have to be who positions the best for the start of the fight, I feel like.
Fiskface does have TP. Laxray does not yet for about a quarter of its time down. So unless there's actually a good...
both ultimates used. All out is used into the Cyclone. Nothing more is going to happen. Just a bit of a trade. But this probably means that both top laners won't be, taking part in this upcoming Drake fight. And that is quite big. For maybe Verax Sky, that cycling could be really big, but now they're starting objective, and we see here Karolinerna Black with the inside track on this Drake. They have started it, but this means that they are tanking it. It is a Cloud Drake. It does deal a lot of damage. Kai, they need to make a decision fast. They get a good ultimate, but there isn't too much follow-up. But Glacialize gets a great flank. The Drake is secured by Glacialize as well, but that Twitch ults, but he doesn't have the items to do anything yet, and this looks to be a very good fight from Verax Sky. They get the dragon, they get the fight. Prumpel, he's looking for more flash. He's showing the confidence. He should get more. He's alone, but he has the HP. That's a double kill. He's looking for the great flash guys from Emidus. Secures a triple kill for front foe, and that's a redemption play if I've ever seen one.
That's huge. Glacialize has completed his Hollow Radius by this point, and he gets a 3-man taunt at the start of this, and there's almost nothing that Karolinerna Black can do. Jake and Sons goes down immediately. Look at that flash forward from Flammable. Goes into 3 other members. Glacialize misses his knock-up here, but still, flash forward from Bailit will not be enough as 4-for-0 fight and the dragon for Verax Sky.
I mean, this is so important as well for Verax Sky, not only in this game, because, I mean, they have a low damage share, but just in general for the competitive season. I mean, Frontful, they usually like to play a lot with bot lane carries. He has to be the guy to show, I can carry, I can go, and he's been looking a bit passive in some of the games.
Now. He has the flash.
But now there is a fight. He has the flash indeed. The taunt is pretty good, but it looks like just Tristan's getting very low, and he's getting taken down. Verax Sky, they're not stopping. That's another kill, and they're putting on the gas pedal, and I feel like Rune and Kai are just taking all the objectives for themselves, and that's really good. But now Emidus, he's even stopping J-Cons from farming his jungle. This is very, very BM, but it's great from Sky. Can they steal it? It's very, very good indeed. And the Pulverize, he does end up getting the Gromp, just barely, but now, does he pay for it? That's a good Alpha Strike to get out of the CC, but and that will end up saving his life. But the Gromp still go over to Verax Kai.
Still, you have, for Kai, you have secured 6 kills, first 4 objectives. You're 4 for 0 for objectives, and the only thing you have sacrificed to do so is, what, 2 plates on the bot lane? So right now, Kai is in a commanding position, even better than the one they were before the Drake fight.
Yeah, but I mean, I love to see this because one of Kai's strengths, when I'm watching them, is always I feel like it's Rune with his early game pathing and just his tempo usage. He's just really good at these farming junglers and using them quite well. And then Fiskface 1v1. Yeah, his 1-1 laning is usually pretty solid. So I feel like if they can just stay even in most lanes, they will end up with a slight lead. And then it's just about converting that in the next team fight. You know, keeping your calm, getting the right targets, and using your spells correctly. And I feel like they're doing that. But now they might be in a bit of trouble. The Unbreakable is already used, but that's a good Ashe ultimate. That Ghost did not do much when you're running straight into arrow, but they're still continuing. And Emidus, why are you still continuing? You're ending up dying. And this is looking very bad for Verax Kai. They have overplayed their hand. I think I cast to curse them for playing very solidly. As a big overplay, but a great punish from Karolinerna 5 nets them 3 kills.
Yeah, this is an overstay by Kai. Immedius, you know that there's a Twitch running around, and okay, fine, this disengage, it's not that bad. Frontful is just in it for way too long, gets stunned up, gets Alpha Strike over the wall, and it's just a disaster for Kai from that great start that they've had. Lose 3 shutdowns towards important members of the team of K5.
Yeah, and all the CC was used to engage, and there was no CC left to stop that Yi, and also that headbutt of the Magnet Storm into Frontful was very awkward right there. And yeah, I feel like they just, I think Emidus wanted to go for a bit more of a punish. You see, you know, looking for a turn. Could they use their gold, did more, but it was just too much, and they all just end up paying big for it. Now, they still have a slight gold lead, but Glacial Ice might change that if he gets caught right here. He needs to be careful. He still is worth a lot of gold. He's worth that shutdown, but he has flash, so luckily he escapes. And they keep on that gold lead.
Good flash there. You have to use it. There's 3 members strong on the mid, but what can Kai do on other sides of the map? Fiskface has started to win heavily in that isolation. 143 CS, almost at 110 per minute, 1300 gold lead over the Wukong of Laxray, and right now the side lanes are going to start being an issue for K5 Black, as Fiskface is unstoppable there.
Yeah, and I mean that, as you say, I mean, Kai, they're still in this game. They still have these leads, as you're highlighting. You know, one mistake won't ruin the game state for them, and they're looking to go more Bailet. Oh, that's a great ultimate for Frontful, and they kill Bailet again. I mean, I feel like, you know, this summoner choice is really punishing him right now. And, you know, great punish for Sky. They saw he used both his summoners in that last fight, and they immediately punish him as soon as they see him. And this should mean a free Herald for them.
And this highlights the issue of K5 Black's like team composition. If you're not ahead, if those explosive carries are not fed, there's nothing much you can do. You get picked off by anything Kai throws at you, and
oh, that's a great juke. That's a great juke into a good re-engage. Both the frontliners are in the front, and the AD carry is just free-hitting on the back. He does get stunned though. That means that Reset is able to flash out, and Frontful has to be careful. Pekmi, great charm, but Rune is killed, but he's walking too far forward, and Cyclone gets him. Laxray with the great engage. Now can Kai turn? They can't. There's nothing stopping the Yi, and another overplay ends in disaster for Verax Kai.
Oh, such an overplay again. As you say, they were in a good position to just back off right now. But look at this charm from Pekmi. It goes through the Gwen onto
he becomes a targetable.
Yeah, and then the Ashe just dies. So there's no damage in this composition right now, and he is completely free to do whatever that he wants. And JK Sons gets 1, gets 2, gets 3 kills for himself. Doesn't take up the kill credit, but he does
Yeah.
end up securing those kills for himself. And suddenly, that 4 or 5k gold lead that Kai had just 2-3 minutes ago has shrunken to just 1. They're still ahead, they're still in a good position, but that he is now fed, and that he is now scary.
Yeah, and even though there is a slight gold lead, I feel like most of it's on that Ashe, and as we say, he's not the highest carry champion right now. I mean, there is even the Gwen has a matchup as Swung, which I think was the big focal point, is on top and ADC, so I feel like, I mean, the game is dead even, if not even a bit ahead on the side of K5, because, I mean, as we talked about, the way their composition works is for these sort of volatile carries to get fed. I mean, look at he has 3 kills, the Wukong has 2 kills, Black Cleaver already completed, so that armor that Fiskface is building is going to be less of an issue. So I feel like Karolinerna has gone from a horrible position to a really great position for their champions. Only the Twitch that we are waiting for, but I mean, he's happy to just scale up for a bit if he can. So yeah, this is mistakes that you can't really avoid. This is what we talked about, the discipline. They played the first part of the game so well, but then they ended up overplaying their hand when I feel like they didn't need to. So then now they're in a worse position. Now, with good Ashe arrows and some good CC, I still feel like they have avenues to sort of re-establish control of this game, but they have to be so careful now, as a lot of these volatile champions, they're just so strong and so ready to just pounce on you.
And yeah, the lack of discipline that you've mentioned has gone K5 back into the game, and Kai now have to really slow the game down. They have to play the map, they have to play the objectives, they have to play with Glacialize's global mobility, basically. Otherwise, these kinds of fights they just showed off will come back to bite them. Now, they do have a good opportunity to get the mid turret, and that is huge to open up in this map from the mid lane, but they have to be careful, as any overstep, just a bit of too much of a click can bring them down completely again.
Yeah, they have to be so careful, and I feel like they have to play well now. I'm looking at Framfel and Fiskface mainly, because Fiskface, he's still he has those 2 kills, he's very far ahead, he's still very much a threat to a lot of these backline champions. As we talked about before the game, he can ult away the Twitch, he could even ult away the Yi for a while, and he can do so much in these fights. But I mean, other than that, it's Framfel. He is the main damage right now of his team. He needs to position correctly, but it's so hard because he's against a Twitch ult, he's against a Rel with the Magnetstorm, Ori, super mobile, Wukong diving onto him, and a Yi. There's so many champions looking for him, and I feel like in this game, Kai, they kind of need to go forward because they're scared if they don't kill, the Twitch or these sort of high damage targets quickly, they're going to lose the fight. But if they go too far forward, they can't peel their AD carry. So they have to really find that balance in these fights.
He might have caught.
He might have got indeed. The Unbreakable will is used into the flash. Yeah, that means that he is out, but that's a big cooldown down for any ensuing fight.
And crucially, Drakesons did not use his ultimate. Highlander is still available for the upcoming fight, while the ultimate of Emidius is not. And that's a big teamfight ultimate down right now.
Big ult indeed that it is down. I mean, we saw the Atakan is being started, but you have to be careful with Atakan now. Remember, it shreds resistances, so unless you have a big lead on the map, it's very risky to go for, even more risky than some Baron plays we've seen in the past. But it looks like the K5 realized they don't want to go over Twitch. It's Argy, spray and pray. Is pop into the Asher, but Frumpel, he's taking for an auto. He's forced to flash away, but he looks to be escaping. But that's flash burned on Frumpel for just the ultimate. Pekmi, he wants more. He gets the charm, and it's a beautiful kill from Pekmi to finish off Glacialize in the mid lane. Now Fiskface, he's looking for something in return. Rune as well, but they're 2v3. I don't think they win this one. It's too much, and that's another kill going over. 2 kills and a shutdown going over to the sorry, I have to correct myself all the time. J.K. Sons gets a triple kill, and it's so big for him. He dies, but I think that's the trade he's happy with.
Yeah, but it's such an overforce on both sides. Fiskface fighting where he should not. Rune helping him out in a 2v3, 2v4 scenario, while on the bot side, Frumpel and Glacialize just die versus 3 members, while Emidius is not on the map. This is, again, an overstep, overforce. As Kai, you should not be in this position whatsoever. You're just wasting fights, you're wasting lives right now.
Yeah, and here we see sort of maybe a fault of Kai and a bit just the nature of the champions that they're facing. I mean, great early game, really shutting the enemy down, but now in the mid game, where it's almost the most important to not get picked off by these champions, they're kind of crumbling. I feel like they don't really know what they want to do. They haven't played around any objective for a while now, so they're just kind of rounding around the map, and that's exactly what Twitch, Wukong Yi really love. They want to look for these picks, they want to look for these angles. We saw there Bollier, he just engaged. He didn't even get the kill, but he did enough to just force a good fight for them on there. And that just shows you that even though you think you're safe, normally if you was against any other champion, you would be able to walk out that far from your turret. But here, you know, if you don't know where the Twitch is, you kind of have to play even further back if you're the Ashe here. But they do still end up getting a dragon. So they're not out of it yet. It seems like they might be able to stabilize here. But Shields, what do you want to see from Kai here? How do they come back from this?
You cannot ever, as Frumful, ultimate the Twitch. Do not click on the Twitch whatsoever. He's not a factor. The factor right now is JK Sons. This Yi is huge, and he will be huge for the rest of the game. JK Sons should never have these amount of items as he does right now. And this will lead to Kai suffering against it. They need to throw all their CC, all their burst onto him. But JK Sons has been doing so well to go into the fight after everything is burned. Now Rune is in trouble.
Yeah, Rune is in trouble. The call of the great entrance is used, but it's looking kind of horrible, but maybe great for Kai as they turn it around. Rune is still alive somehow. But he is untouched. It's looking over. Frumful is alone. Your damage is left alone on Verax, guys. Now there's nothing left in the tank, and they're just gonna be cleaned up by the damage level. But that's a good number of Fisk Face, but it's not enough as the Ariadas refresh comes through. And now Fisk Face is looking for more. He gets a great shutdown though, but can he win out as we have a replay? In the middle of the action, maybe a bit of a production mishap, but we see here.
Overforced by Kai. Again, you toss all the CC onto the Twitch. Sure, the Twitch is dead. The Twitch is not really a factor in this game as JK Sons, together with Pekmi, completely annihilate Kai. And like you said, on the bottom, Ash Frumful was completely alone into this duel of Pekmi and Trizet, and that's a 5-for-2 in favor of K5 Black, and Kai just looks completely lost in these fights.
Yeah, they don't know what to do. I mean, they're trying, but I mean, the main carries here, I mean, Fiskface is on a tank, he's doing what he can, and Rune, he's just so far behind that he's going for these plays, I feel like, where maybe if he was a bit more ahead, he could make them, but right now he's just not at that point yet, so he just gets taken down, and they're tunnel visioning too much on the Twitch, as you're saying, so they need to sort of realize and sort of reevaluate how they're going to play these fights. I feel like for now, I mean, that's just like one Fisk phase alone is enough to easily deal with Twitch, but the entire team is going on them when they don't really need to. They need to save something for JK Sons, who's now just completed his third item. He's so strong.
Yeah, honestly, like you cannot throw CC at the Twitch. The Twitch is just a bait. He's using himself as a living bait for CC for JK Sons engage. Now, you don't need a tank at all if just the Twitch engages into the enemy team and the enemy team just tosses everything onto the useless Twitch.
Yeah. I feel like they're falling away with Twitch fever. I mean, this is the hidden passive of Twitch, right? Both it makes enemy team tilt so you can win more games when you get fed, but also, even if you're not fed, people will just try and kill you. They will just throw spells at you, and if you have a carrier on your team, you just say, well, I'm useless, but thank you for using cooldown on me.
Honestly, the Kai needs to be more disciplined. Like you say, they have the soul point, so they have something to play around. The Baron is now live on the map, but look at the control Karolinerna 5 has here. They have all the vision around Baron. Observers, can we just go into Kai's vision here? I just want to see what they see. Look at that. Oh, they have some decent wards, actually. Never mind, they got, I was blind to them, so it's not that bad for Kai on this top side. But still, they cannot approach. Look how they're trying to get more vision down, more control down. They just cannot. And Frumful is so dangerous to be up there. Ari can ult you. JK Sons can ult flash you. Bailit can just Twitch you, say hello, and your game is over. So it's hard for Kai to play.
It's very hard for them to play, and I mean they do have that Ash Hawk shot, as a sort of a consolation prize to get some vision if they need to. But I feel like at this point, even if they execute the team work correctly, I feel like it's so hard for them to win. I mean, they have, even though the gold lead is only says 2k, I feel like look at where the gold is on. It's on that Yi, 2.2k, and the Ahri and the Wukong is, even though he's not off as gold lead, he has 2 completed items. He's super strong. So I feel like now, if I'm Kai, I'm questioning if I can even fight anymore, and I feel like they have to maybe look for some picks or something with that Ashe ultimate, because they're in a really dire spot.
And this is the exact position we said that Karolinerna 5 Black should never be in if Kai plays correctly. They should never be winning those fights in the earlier stages of the game. They should never be getting to the mastery being so obscenely strong, as well as Pekmi. We haven't talked about this Ahri much, but here she goes.
Yeah, here she goes, and that's some good return damage, and the Oriole kind of does nothing, and that might be an avenue of punishment for Kai as the Drake is spawning. They are pushing mid and looking down, but the inside track and the position is secured by Karolinerna. Now what can they do with it? They have 2 items completed on Twitch. He's not a monster yet, but he's closing. Ash Arrow onto the Ahri. This could be a good pick, but they need to do it so fast. But now, who can kill Jacksons? Twitch is free-hitting, but no Hurricane. But the Magnet Storm is so huge. The Great Entrance is used, but it's not gonna be enough, and they're just falling. The wallets on Karolinerna are just too big.
Again, you toss everything onto Pekmi. Ash ult is great. Flash knockup is great. He's dead, sure, but look at that Master Yi. He's completely free, as well as Dritsad's getting an insane Magnet Storm onto 4 people. Even Beilit is completely free in this fight, and it's just, yes, you got the Ahri, awesome, but the rest of the team is just untouched. You're not supposed to get CC'd that much by the team of Karolinerna 5, but you get, and it's another disaster for Kai, and it's a disastrous fight after disastrous fight, and they're now losing the Baron as well.
Yeah, and I feel like they're playing sort of, I get why they want to go in, they have Galio, Alistar, and Ashe ult. It feels screams go button, but I mean, one thing that both Ashe and Gwen excel at is fighting into melees, especially Galio as well. They can kite back so insanely well, and I feel like if they dive in, they're going to use too much cooldowns, they're just going to die. So they gotta have to try and kite back here. They need to force the Yi to run into them, because then they can CC him and blow him up with that Gwen damage. But it's so hard to execute at this point because they're so far behind. I mean, every carry is getting damage, so there's just too many sources of damage now, I feel like, for Kai to realistically win any fight.
Yeah, and again, no CC on this mastery. I have not seen a singular focus onto him. It shows why this is J.K. Sun's favorite champion, because he knows so well when to go in on this champion. Wait for all the CC to be used, wait for all your teammates to not really die, but just to be focused on, and then go in and clean up. And look at the cold leads now that Karolinerna has. 8,000 in the past 10 minutes. They have had a 12,000 gold swing, and right now I don't see Kai winning another fight in this game.
Yeah, I feel like now it's just try and look for the hero play. They need to get some sort of pick, but it's so hard against the Baron. They will not have push in any lane. They have no vision in their jungle. It's so hard to find picks right now. So yeah, I mean, Verax Kai, you just have to look for a miracle play. Hope an overstep or something. Maybe Karolinerna tries to dive a turret and you can punish them. But yeah, it's definitely right now Karolina's game to lose.
Yeah, and J.K. Sons has done such an insanely good job in this game. Look at the top lane. Rune and FaceFace can barely stand against basically Luxray alone. And that 1,300 gold lead onto FaceFace has turned into a 3,000 gold lead alone onto this Wukong.
Yeah, and I mean, they're trying, and I mean, there are some rotations, but as you see, the Twitch walking alone, but they just don't have the vision to see these sort of openings because they're just stuck in their base. It's so hard. They have to almost get like a hawk shot into a blind Ashe ult almost to just find a unique pick. But I mean, it's so hard. Baron, these turrets are falling, and look, that Twitch now has 3 items. Jackie Sons is super fed and Laxray is 2v5ing almost, 1v5ing almost. So right now they're so far behind. There is not much they can do. They need to find some sort of miracle play. Yeah, Spirit Rush is used, but maybe this is what they need to do. They need to sort of force out, bait out as many cooldowns as possible. But look at that damage from Pekmi. He doesn't even need his ultimate. He just hits one spell and it's just bye-bye to anyone. And this looks to just be clean, slow, and calculated from the side of Karolinerna. We wonder that they were the ones playing the solo queue style, but it definitely looks like comfort is king. They're looking so comfortable right now. They know exactly what to do. They're pushing all 3 lanes. They're using that Baron buff effectively. And I think this is why comfort is king at the end of the day. It makes it so much easier for them to focus on that macro play, and it shows.
Yeah, it does. I don't see Kai being able to do anything right now. It's so hard. They're pushing into the Dragon Pit. That's good. Maybe set the poison, get something down, get potentially a pick. But if you do, Laxray will just win the game. And I don't think Fiskface can stand against him alone. Not in a million years. And right now, Rune might be caught.
Yeah, Rune might be caught indeed, and the grand entrance is not gonna, but Jiki-san's damage is just too much, and now it's just cleanup crew. There is nothing there to support Glacialize. He's left all alone, and they're just falling apart at the seams, and this seems like a foregone conclusion now. Flash is being blown because they don't care. They know who is gonna win, and it looks to be K5 as we get a replay here.
The top side, we see it off screen, but Firmfall just dies to Baylead, and that's the first kill. Second kill Baylead gets this game, and it's just impossible to kill Jiki-san's right now. Kai misstepping in crucial moments in the mid game, and it turns into a game 1 loss for them. And we talked about how important these games are right now, and with this, Kai falls down into 6th position on the standings, and as I'm talking about Kai, Karolinerna 5 Black will take the game 1, take the first win, and get closer to those playoffs.
I mean, closer indeed, and it's such a rough game 1 to lose here for Verax, and the way they lost it. They started off so well, and then they just kind of crumbled. And as you say, these games are so important. You need to win anything to have a chance. I mean, if they go 1-1 today, they have maybe a chance, but they have to go 2-0 against, I think, all of their remaining matches. And they're, as you say, they're against the top of the table, good Chi in a couple of weeks. So